to They Call Us Villains. Ah!
All right. Welcome to another edition of They Call Us Villains. I'm with the Corporal. What's
What's
up? What's going
what's
on?
what's going on, Kamish? Just ready for another fun weekend of football and NLDS with the Dodgers, obviously
Nice.
against the Padres.
The Padres. The Padres.
Um,
That's going to be a good series. I like that it's local.
yeah, it's
Intensifies.
yeah. It's gonna be a great series. It's definitely gonna be the defining series. I mean, it's got that prime spot tomorrow at 5 o'clock, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna get a lot of ratings, and not just from the West Coast. I'm pretty sure the East Coast people are gonna tune in and see how good the Padres are. And I mean, Shohei Ohtani, anytime he's playing, it's must see TV. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good postseason all around.
It's going to start at 5, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, Fox Sports 1.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What are you expecting out of this game?
So I'm expecting a dogfight. I think it's gonna go the full 5 games. It's a 5 game series, and I just honestly think that it's gonna go all the way to 5 games. That's just my hunch because I don't want to discount the Padres. They've had a very nice season. They came out of nowhere. I know they beefed up the bullpen. They just lost Musgrave. They lost them against the Braves in that clinching wild card game. So that's tough. He's gonna need Tommy John surgery. So he's not. They lost a pitcher, a quality pitcher, mind you. So that's gonna help out the cause for the Dodgers. Hopefully they can capitalize on that because the Dodgers are dealing with their own injuries with the pitching. But and then the word is that Freddie Freeman is gonna be able to play Game 1 on that ankle injury that he injured against the Padres in the last series against the Padres to clinch the West. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how he performs with that ankle and if it's gonna be bothering him. What Dave Roberts does if he's unable to go a last minute type of thing, or if he's not himself either at the plate or at first base. Who's going to substitute? They were saying Max Muncy, but it's just it's still undecided right now. For sure, the pitching matchup. I was looking at the pitching matchup. They got Dylan Cease versus Yamamoto, and Yamamoto is obviously first time. He's pretty technically a rookie here in the States, even though he's pitched in big games in Japan. But it's interesting to see. I mean, he just came back from injury as well. I think he had like about 2 or 3 starts prior to the postseason now. So I'm interested to see how he performs at a big stage because technically I mean, I know it's a division series, but as a Dodger fan, as a national spotlight is on the Dodgers and the Yankees, but the national spotlight's on the Dodgers here in the West Coast, especially because it's Dodgers Padres. I mean, this is the series where the Dodgers get their rematch against the Padres who took them out. So it's going to be high stakes, no doubt. They have to get over this series, obviously, to move on. And like I said in prior podcasts, if they go beyond this, this is the hump. You got to get over this hump. You either play the Phillies or the Mets after this. I'm assuming it might even be the Mets. The Mets are streaky, even though they lost one game in the wild card round to Milwaukee. But Milwaukee, I mean, they won the division. The Central was theirs to begin with. So there wasn't really much of competition. And the Mets are just a hot team. They're kind of like the Detroit Tigers in the American League right now, who are the hot team, who took out the Astros. So that was great. But it did ruin my prediction because my prediction was Dodgers Astros in the World Series. Now it might actually be a Dodgers Yankees. Or the dark horse, my dark horse in the American League is Cleveland. You got to look out for the Guardians. The Guardians are a very good team, young team, good pitching, good hitting. They got Ramirez. They have the players to go up to the next level.
So let me ask you this: as someone who kind of tuned out maybe most of the season and kind of started tuning in as Tawny started making news, what should I look for tomorrow's game? Who are the guys? Who are the main players? Who are the role players? What's the dynamic going to be, both on the Dodgers and the Padres?
So obviously, I mean, the Padres got Tatis back. I mean, they had him back for that final series against the Dodgers. Prior to that, most of the season he was out, but he's I mean, he's Tatis. He's so good where he just slipped right back in. He's hitting. He's doing things with the glove. I mean, they got, he's played shortstop. They got him in center field. I mean, he could play a nice center field too. So you got to look for Tatis. Obviously, Machado at third at the hot corner. He's a platinum glove winner. And his bat, I mean, every time
former Dodger too, right?
Former Dodger that the Dodgers acquired through the trading deadline. I think that was it's been a while. I know it was pre-pandemic. They acquired him from the Orioles. Got drafted by the Orioles, brought up by the Orioles. The Orioles pretty much he was the franchise. I don't know what happened, like some type of falling out, and the Dodgers ended up acquiring him at the trade deadline. He was his hustle was questionable, so I think that's why the Dodgers were so willing to let him go and not sign him. So the Padres, I mean, were like, yeah, we'll take you, we'll give you some money. And he's been the villain. Like he's really encapsulated the whole villain role for the Padres because I mean nationally the Dodgers are the big bad wolf and the Padres are little red whatever you want. I'm not here to talk about fairy tales, and I have a prop for that at the end of the podcast. So stand by for the prop because this is gonna be good.
Okay, and what about on the Dodger side?
So on the Dodger side, obviously Ohtani. It's his first time in the playoffs. He's Ohtani. He has to get it done. I mean, I think there's more pressure on Dave Roberts than there is on Ohtani. Ohtani's going to be a Dodger for a long time. I mean, you gave him practically over $500 million, so he's going to be a Dodger for a long time. He'll be pitching next year. I mean, the Mad Dog Chris Russo had Harold Reynolds, great former player for the Mariners and a great analyst for MLB Network, and he talked about how there's, I don't know if it was his conclusion or if he has somebody on the inside that he probably got spoken with. But remember we talked about last podcast. I mean, there was word from Andrew Freeman saying that Ohtani was not going to pitch. Harold Reynolds today said that there might be an opportunity where Ohtani might even pitch as a starter. So
I was him just kind of being trying to stir things up, or you think that's a serious?
I think so. But I mean, Harold Reynolds, he's well-renowned baseball man. I mean, for him to come out with something like that is kind of interesting. It's like, okay, is this speculation? Is he making speculation because he was on the interview with Christopher Russo, was also a great baseball man. And so it just got me thinking. I'm like, well, I mean, you're paying him so much money. Like I said, Commish, this is the World Series where they have to win. It's them or the Yankees. And if both teams don't, if neither the Dodgers or the Yankees pull off the World Series win, it's a disappointing season. I mean, regardless, it's like we're not the Milwaukee Brewers, we're not the Pittsburgh Pirates, we're not the Cincinnati Reds. I know we're not the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers are that premier franchise. They have the highest payroll in baseball. Look at the Yankees with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. These teams, they're built. They're supposed to be built not just for the regular season and the 100 wins and the 90-something wins and win the division. That's nice. That's gravy. But the World Series is the main feast. You need to win a World Series. Period. Even just getting to the World Series is not good enough at this point. You have to win the World Series. Yes. That has to be the expectation.
And so you think they're ready to do that?
I can't say enough, Commish. I have so many people come up to me at work and they're doubters about the pitching. And yes, I talked about this prior. Even last year, I talked about it. I'm like, okay, we're going to get Ohtani. Cool. Is he going to pitch? No. He'll pitch next year. But this is the year, Commish. This is the year where they didn't win 100 games, but they had some hard-fought games to get to winning the pennant, to winning the West. And they had the Diamondbacks on their tail the whole season. They had the Padres on the tail the whole season. Even the Giants at one point were on their tail. And then everything kind of settled where when the Diamondbacks just fell off, which was great for us Dodger fans. And then once we knew that when they lost that first game in the final series against the Padres, it was like, wow, here we go again. Like, what is happening? The Padres doing Padre things where they have the Dodgers number. But the Dodgers came back and won the third game of the series. The third game was a decider. And so after that, it was like, this is the team where they've battled through injuries, through scandals with the Otani betting scandal in the beginning of the season. There's Freddie's son. Thank you, Lord, for taking care of his son. For I mean, his son was diagnosed with a very rare condition. Luckily, we have such great medical care here in the United States and in Los Angeles, to be more specific, that they were willing to save his son's life. This team they've come together, and yes, Otani with his accolades of the 50-50 club, and he's won us so many games with the long ball. I mean, he's had so many great games in the regular season, but now it's a different light now. It's the national spotlight. This is global, where it's the regular season's the regular season. Cool, you won the West. You won 100 games. Not this season, obviously they didn't win 100, but they got 90 some, which is still great. Regardless, this is postseason baseball now. It's a 5-game series to begin with in the DS and the National League Division Series. You need to win 3 games. If you don't win 3 games, you're done. That's it. Boom, your season's over. And you win all these games and you did all this and that, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, it's all about the championship. Especially in baseball, it's all about the championship. You have to win the thing about it is that in baseball, the salary cap is so huge, where I mean the richest teams are getting the best guys, and we had that with the Yankees prior. That's why the Yankees have always been so successful. The Yankees of the 90s, even early 2000s, they were pretty successful. They won I think 1 or 2 titles. But the Dodgers, ever since the Guggenheim Group bought them, it just exploded, and just the deal with Spectrum, just there's so much money, and that's how they were able to have Otani come over from the Angels. I mean, Otani could have gone in. I mean, the Blue Jays were ready to give him $1 billion, and he didn't want to go to Toronto. He wanted to stay here in California, stay local. He could have gone to the Giants. He could have gone to the Padres. The Padres could have probably matched the money, but he wanted to come to LA. LA is where you want to be. He's a superstar. He's a bigger star than LeBron. He's a bigger star than Stafford, and I love Stafford. If he wins the title, I think he'll be a bigger star than Kobe. And that's tough. But he has to win more than one. He has to win. But it's just like I said, Kamish, the city is so hungry for a World Series title. So hungry that 2020 title was nice, but it won't suffice. And now you have Otani, and I get it that the pitching is, you lost pitchers, you lost May, and you lost Gonsolin. We might get Gonsolin back. But it's still, I mean, this is the year where they've all battled, and you can just tell it's a different type of clubhouse, Kamish. These guys are playing for each other. They're rallying around each other. They're having fun. And these last 2 years have been the total opposite. You can tell, like, you look at the clubhouse, and guys are kind of like disgruntled. Like Bellinger was like, well, hey, man, I'm coming up to my contract. Pay me. Turner was, I mean, I love Turner, but Turner was kind of, I mean, he's aging a little bit. He's had a lot of injuries. He couldn't really swing that hot bat anymore.
So as you're kind of segueing into the other players, that's the question I want to ask
like
you.
The Dodgers
who else are we looking for outside of Otani? Who's there? I
mean, obviously Freeman and Betts. They have to prove it. They have to prove it, because last year they stunk it up. It was bad. It was bad. I think they scored like a handful of runs. I don't even remember, because I would look at the opposing team, which was the Diamondbacks, and like the Diamondbacks scored like 20 runs. And I know I'm being silly, but I know it was double-digit leads. And it was just like unreal. It's like you can't even get the guy to go around second. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was madness. It was like, what is going on? Like the Dodgers, and you got the Diamondbacks, who were not even like, nobody thought about the Diamondbacks. I mean, the Diamondbacks were a nice team, but they're the Diamondbacks. They're not this big salary, this big, ginormous, the owner's the richest owner in baseball. No, it's just like they had like really nice players, and they played baseball. Literally, they played baseball. They moved runners along. They stole bases. it's a different game now because of the pitch clock, and you got bigger bases, but the bases aren't that. I mean, they're bigger, but still, you have guys who are getting cut off at second. So people who want to speculate that the bases are bigger and that Otani's record doesn't mean anything, it's like, dude, you got regular guys who are speedsters are still getting picked off at second. How many times did Otani get picked off at second? I don't even remember. I don't even think he got picked off at second this year. I could be wrong. I'm not really much of a stats guy, as you know, Kamish, but it's I watch the games and you just it feels different. It feels different, Kamish. It feels different. And I know I'm being fanatic, and that's our job, and that's what keeps the business, these businesses in place. It's the fans. It's us. We go, we watch, we pay for it technically through Spectrum. We pay for the service to watch the games. I mean, you buy the gear, you go to the stadium, you pay for parking, you buy a hot dog, you buy a beer. You're paying for all this stuff one way or another. Even if you're not the park, like I said, you pay for Spectrum, you pay for this, you pay for the service to watch the team. Sports is so great because of the fans, Kamish. It's the revenue. Right. You look at the UFL. The UFL doesn't have even a quarter of the fans that the NFL has. The NFL is king because of the fans. And so, right. Like I know I'm going off of a tangent, but like I said, Kamish, I just feel this is the year where they need to execute. They need to execute. There's no next year. This is the year.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm hyped up for this series for sure.
You have to be hyped up, even if you're not a Dodger fan on a national level. If you really want to enjoy really good baseball, that's the series. I'm not taking anything away from Yankees, Royals, and Guardians, Detroit, which is both very good teams, and I'm not taking away anything from Phillies Mets, which is the East Coast rivalry, the equivalent, kind of like the equivalent of Dodgers, Padres, or Dodgers Giants, kind of similar equivalent because they're both division rivals. But this game, like you said, Kamish, is like, who are the players? This game has so much juice, where you have guys. You have stars. You have so many stars on both sides, and you have quality pitching because the Dodgers, the bullpen is no slouch either. The bullpen has been fantastic, and they were great against the Padres in that 3-game series that clinched the West. I think they could just carry the momentum in, and let's get Kershaw back. I mean, they got the bye, and people are talking about how, baseball's messing it up because, I mean, they win the top teams get a bye week, but yet again, I think the Dodgers, realistically, this year, that bye week was kind of it's a blessing in disguise in my point of view. It's a blessing in disguise because I think that there was rumblings about Gonsolin coming back. You get Gonsolin back, that's an extra arm. You get Kershaw back, who was injured. I mean, even if you don't start him, at least throw him out of the bullpen or something. I mean, you gotta win games. It's simple. You got to win games.
So the Dodgers were 5-8 against the Padres this season.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? That's not a good record going in there.
That's not a good record, but think about it, Kamish. The other thing too is the Dodgers do hold home field advantage throughout the postseason. So most of these games, if it goes to Game 5, it will be at Dodger Stadium. They need to win. They need to win at least one game at Petco in San Diego. One game. If they can win that one game at San Diego, they can steal one. That's all you need. That's how confident I am. Like, they need one game. If they win two, don't even put a Game 5. There won't be a Game 5. If they win 2 games at Petco, it's over. It's a wrap.
It's done.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
How would you feel if they split one here?
See, if they split, then well, it's like I said originally. I think there will be a Game 5. I think it'll go the distance, 4 or 5 games. But yeah, if they split, there will definitely be a Game 5. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think the Dodgers we see tomorrow are going to be the Dodgers throughout the season, or do you think they might start off slow? Then
see, that's a good question, Kamish. That's a solid question right there, because they were talking about that earlier on Mad Dog Christopher Russo, and how this 1 week bye for the top teams that won the division. They won their division, the best record. It's kind of it's like it's either a crutch or it's going to help them out. And so I know baseball is a game of momentum. I mean, we've had the Colorado Rockies go on a hot streak and go all the way to the World Series. I mean, true story. We have the Detroit Tigers right now in the American League who have they went on a run. They went on a run and they pretty much took out the Astros and now they're going to play a tough Guardians team, but they're a tough team. They're a scrappy team. They're not big names. I know McKinstry was a former Dodger. That's pretty much like the only player I know at the moment with the Tigers. Is I wasn't really following the American League. I'm more interested in the National League with opponents that the Dodgers will face down the line. Granted, the Padres, they like I said, they battled. They have a great bullpen. They have great pitching, but losing Musgrove is a big component to their team. Everybody's already crowning them. They're saying, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be the Padres and the Yankees in the World Series." I'm not willing to take that step. Like if I'm wrong, I mean I admit when I'm wrong. You know, I'm wrong. I'll say it. But I'm not willing to crown the Padres, and not just because I'm a Dodger fan. It's because realistically, I see the games, and like I said, Kamish, they're gonna give us a fight. Yeah, they're gonna be great. They're gonna go out there and score runs, shut out a couple of the Dodgers, maybe. I mean, I'm just hoping that Mookie gets going. And the thing with Freeman is, how's that ankle going to feel? I mean, that week off, ankle injuries are funny because yes, I've had ankle injuries. So you don't recover in a week, but let's see how at least if he's like at least 80-90% well enough to even run on it, that's good to go. I mean, you gotta just take anything that you can get at this point, because both teams are banged up. I think the Dodgers are a little bit more banged up on the pitching side than the Padres, but losing Musgrove. But it's the Dodgers had to play that brand of baseball they've been playing all year. Get Ohtani on base, get Betts on base. I mean, even Will Smith will steal a base here and there. You got to get your guys going, and then you got to get the bench guys going. You got to get Chris Taylor up there and get a couple of swings. You got to get Kike Hernandez up there and get a couple of swings. Kike really proved something to me this year. Prior years, he's hot or cold. I remember when they played the Cubs in the DS or in the CS as well. He had his hot streaks and he had his cold streaks where he went ice cold. I remember specifically that when they played the Red Sox in that World Series, he was ice cold. He was like negative -0, what have you. Like his batting average was just he was on an automatic out. But this year he's really, the whole thing with him going and getting his eyes checked out. He's a different man.
So tomorrow's game is gonna be the broadcaster on tomorrow's game is gonna be Joe Davis.
Love it.
Is he good?
Yeah. Joe Davis is the Dodgers home announcer on Spectrum. Is it going to be Joe Davis and John Smoltz?
Let's see here.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's got to be Davis and Smoltz.
Joe Davis and Steven Nelson.
Oh, interesting. Steven Nelson.
Oh no, wait, sorry. That's just I don't think
those are the Dodgers. Yeah, broadcasters. Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah. Steven Nelson's the alternate. He's the alternate. Okay. Yeah, he's the alternate. When Joe's doing NFL on Fox, they have Steven Nelson or Steven Nelson. I forgot the other gentleman's name. He's very good too. He does a lot more radio though. It's not Charlie Steiner. I forget. Tim Neverett. Tim Neverett's the other alternate as well.
It looks like Oral Hershiser is also part of the, or he's been before.
Well, Hershiser's a part of, that's the Spectrum broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so it should be Smoltz. Yeah, because it's on Fox Sports 1, so it's usually Smoltz. Smoltz. Yeah, and Joe, Smoltz and Joe. And they're great. What I love about Joe is obviously he's a Dodgers broadcaster, but he can be very bipartisan. I mean, he calls national games, so he's not going to get too hyped up in the moment the Dodgers do win or they're leading. He's a professional, and I love that about Joe. He's a true professional.
It just says that Davis is going to call the games on Fox Sports, and then the other gentleman whose name I just said. Nelson is going to call the game on AM 570.
Yeah, AM 570. Okay, on the radio station. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stephen Nelson. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
So those guys are good because it's
Fantastic.
big shoes to fill with now that he's been gone for a while now, but no longer we have
No
Vince
longer with
Scully
us, Vinny.
who
Yeah, I
legendary.
mean the golden voice. Yeah, but you know what's well, it's interesting. I didn't want to say funny because nothing funny about losing Vin, but the thing that's interesting about Vin is he never wanted to take that spotlight away from the guys. Like when the Dodgers were in the World Series back in 2017 and back in 2018 against the Red Sox, they asked him like, "Hey, like, would you mind coming in at least calling a couple innings?" And obviously, I mean, Vin's the most classiest man that ever walked this earth. He didn't want to take that spotlight away from the guys who were working the network or were there and what have you. He's just that type of guy. Like he's like, no, like I'm good. Like you guys carry on. And because when you call a World Series game, especially, that's some of those calls are forever.
Oh, okay.
So that's why
that's true. You're right. Every time they replay
right.
replay a highlight from that time, that's the voice you're gonna hear.
Yeah. It's like the Miracle on Ice with USA versus the USSR. Al Michaels.
Right.
Do you believe in miracles? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Some lines just get ingrained into like
it just get ingrained. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. The color commentator is going to be John Smoltz.
John Smoltz. Yeah. He's great. Yeah. Because the National League's gonna be on Fox Sports, and then the American League's gonna be on TBS. So usually it's Brian Kenny. And I like Brian Kenny. I know he's a little biased against the Dodgers sometimes. I don't know. I guess that's how I felt when the Dodgers were playing either. I think it was the Braves on TBS a couple years back, and then Joe Buck did the same thing when the Dodgers were playing the Cubs, and it was I don't know. It was just weird. Like it's kind of like I know I'm gonna switch into sports like football with NBC. When it's the Chiefs, they get so giddy, like, oh, Mahomes, and it's just like, dude, and stop it, just stop, please, just call the game.
Oh.
Yeah, I get it. You have to hype up the people at home, but hyping up and being like this is two different things.
Right.
Yeah.
See what Bob Costas and Brian Anderson are going to be.
Brian Anderson. Okay. I was going to mix the Brian Kenny. Brian Kenny's on MLB Network. Brian Anderson. Yeah. Great voice. Yeah.
He's going to be doing Yankees.
And he calls NBA games every now and then on TNT as well. Great voice. Really? Yeah. Brian Anderson. Yeah. Great voice. He's the guy that I meant that he's sometimes, I don't know. He's a little biased for my taste with the Dodgers when the Dodgers play. Yeah. I don't know. But like I said, I mean, it's just things that I pick out. I mean, I could be wrong, what have you. I'm not. I'm obviously not correct all the time. Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be good tomorrow. We're gonna see.
I mean, I'm not correct all the time, and I know I'm not running for vice president of the United States of America. Zing! Had to get that one in there.
That first game's gonna, I think, set the tone. It's kind of like it's gonna set our expectations either high or low, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Commish. The games are back to back, so you got the game tomorrow and then you got a game on Sunday, same time. So they're gonna be competing with Sunday Night Football. Honestly, at this point I'd rather watch I love football. I love the NFL, and I love these prop bets, and I'm winning some cash. I'm winning some cash on underdog. So if you want, I did talk about drafters a while back, but no, man, underdog is a place you want to go if you want to cash out. If you don't want to just lose your money on as I do 8 player parlays. Yeah. So I mean, at least I get something. I mean, for the Thursday Night Football, I'm getting paid out at least $60 out of a $10 bet. So, nice. So I'm making some money. Bijan missed it by 7 yards. So
did they only allow? They only allow like the parlay bets, like the prop bets that you can't do straight up.
No, you got to go to Vegas for that. Yeah. You could do prop bets all you want till the money comes home, obviously, because the money's coming. But
we almost had that here, but
right? They lost that election. Yeah. They rather vote on
the casinos, the Indian casinos
Yeah.
put a lot of money into like
And yeah,
stop.
like I would have been totally fine with at least having that, where it's like that's an option. But no, they shut that down too. They were like, no, it's gonna create a problem, and we already have this homeless epidemic, and it's gonna cause more homeless people. I'm like, I'm betting $10. Like, $10 really? Like, come on, you can find that under your couch cushion. Stop it.
All right, let's switch over to the NFL. What did you think this past week?
It was great. I
Mhm.
mean, the Monday Night Football game, the Titans Dolphins game was painful to watch.
Oh,
That was just a bad game. I mean, you got Mason Rudolph in there, and he didn't do much, but I mean, he secured them the win. So I mean, I didn't even know he was on the roster. So I was thinking, my head was okay. Ryan Tannehill, let's make a comeback to the Titans or the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins got Huntley, but I mean, Huntley's not much of a thrower. He's more of a scrambler. So I mean, you can tell when he threw that ball to Tyreek Hill, he overthrew him. I mean, Tyreek Hill was sprinting. I mean, he's fast, but man, even he was sprinting out of his shoes for that catch down the field. And yeah, so there's talks about how the NFL's not gonna get involved with Tua coming back, but this game this week coming up against the Dolphins Patriots, the Dolphins need to win that game. If the Dolphins don't win that game, Mike McDaniels is in trouble. That team's in trouble. Something's going on, and it's not Tua. It's definitely like something going on with the locker room, or yeah, it's wow. It's so crazy because we were praising Mike McDaniels so much last season,
oh
and
yeah, that's right.
now this season it's like wow, he doesn't look I mean, the fall from grace, and I feel for the guy because he's a lovable character. He's one of those coaches where you seem like you want to pick his brain, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but the way they played, it's been bad. They get Raheem Mostert back, but we'll see. I mean, it's the passing game that's been affected mostly, and they don't have the same defense as last year.
He seemed like he was kind of setting the tone the year before, really being a leader for that
Right.
team. What do you think has changed?
I think the Tua injury, and then like I said, Commissioner, it's not the same defense. Once they got rid of Big Fangio, it's I don't know. I don't even know who exactly is running the defense now, but it doesn't even look the same as last year's defense.
Yeah. Let's see here what some of the big stories coming up here. You know who Billy Shaw is?
It sounds familiar.
I never heard of him, but he died. I guess he was a Buffalo Bills legend, and he passed away. Rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace. Oh, and well, did we talk about Mutombo last time?
Oh, we did not.
Yeah.
It happened after that, I think, when he passed.
Dikembe, and then after that, Pete Rose passed away too. Yeah. He was really entertaining when they had him on Fox Sports for the World Series or for the postseason. He was actually pretty entertaining. I watched the documentary on HBO Max.
For Pete Rose?
Yeah, for Pete Rose. I don't know. He did come off as an a-hole simply. But I mean,
these guys who are at the top of their game, they're all a-holes. Like,
oh, of course. Like, look at Barry Bonds. Yeah.
It's part of getting to that spot.
Yeah.
You can't get to that. I mean, I'm trying to think who's a really nice guy. Maybe Tom Brady?
I would say Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner? Okay.
Kurt Warner, especially because, I mean, him and his wife have that foundation, Treasure House.
Yeah.
How they help out people with disabilities.
Okay.
Because his wife, when they met, her son was autistic. So he committed, like, after that, once he made it to the top, he became a Super Bowl champion and all that. He created a foundation called Treasure House, and they donate every Monday night. They donate to that foundation every time there's a touchdown scored. So it's great. I like that. I like that about Kurt Warner.
Yeah. No, they all have like a little charities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they also have like this edge to them that
of course.
helps them get to that.
Yeah.
That spot, that top spot where it gives them that little killer instinct. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, look at Kobe too. Yeah, Kobe, no doubt.
Kobe. Yeah, you hear lots of Kobe's. Like Kobe's, I'm sure did a lot of charity work, but there were stories that came out about him kind of like, saying some gnarly things to his fellow teammates and not letting them. Like I think one time he told all his teammates that he couldn't wear his shoes or something like that. He's like, go get all the shoes out of their lockers.
Wow.
No shoes. You guys aren't good enough to wear my shoes.
And now everybody wears his shoes.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a tribute now. It's like, okay, it's a tribute.
Yeah. If he was alive and you're not playing well and you're wearing his shoe, he might be like, "Hey,
take him off right now."
Yeah,
Like,
take him off right now. Give me back those shoes.
There's a timeout right now. Go.
Yeah.
You got some time. Go to the locker room and switch out those shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, go put on some other shoes though.
Yeah, I think the only person that you would think is like Shaq is like really cool because even when Shaq had his own shoes, those shoes were selling at Payless.
Oh yeah,
I mean, those at Kmart, those shoes were never. I mean, I know they were crap, but still, it's like.
But he like purposely.
He purposely was just like like keep them cheap, keep them affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's refreshing. I like that.
That's refreshing. Yeah, and then he like totally changed up the whole image for Papa John's because if it wasn't for Shaq, Papa John's would have definitely gone under because of the founder or the owner. Yeah, had some racist remarks, and so that like turned out bad because Papa John's is a good pizza.
Yeah, it kind of lost its quality once they fired him. It kind of started going downhill. They lost.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, but the pizza's still good though.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, and it's good. The price is pretty decent, especially that promo they got going on right now. At that New York style pizza, $10.99.
I haven't had it in a long time.
That's a bargain. That's a bargain.
Get that, then.
It's good pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go get some of that. I haven't had that in a long. Papa John's.
Keep making good pizza, Papa John's. Love you. Yeah, that was the go-to back in the Marine Corps.
Really?
Oh, the go-to. Oh man, you go into a barracks room and there was like a dirty 30 of some type of cheap beer like Budweiser, Bud Light before Dylan Mulvaney ruined it.
Do you remember?
And you have stacks of Papa John's pizzas. It was great. It was great.
You remember the commercial with Mutombo when he would do the finger?
Yeah.
Legend, man. Legend. Do you remember him as a kid? I remember when he was playing.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I remember him mostly with his days with the 76ers.
Yeah.
When the Sixers beat the Lakers in that first game, oh man, they were pumping their chest. They were like, "We got this." Yeah. And the Lakers did the reverse sweep and mopped the floor with them. Yeah. Yeah.
And Pete Rose, I mean, I was a little too young for Pete Rose. I never saw him play.
Me too. Yeah, I knew more about him as I learned more about baseball and watching baseball, and then especially more when he came on as one of the guys at the desk for the postseason on Fox.
Right.
He was really entertaining. Yeah, he was funny to watch. But then I watched the HBO Max documentary, and then it's kind of like a new light, and then there's all these allegations how he was kind of I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, I mean,
he was an addict, right? Like a gambling addict or something?
Gambling addict, yeah. I mean, that's what got him kicked out of baseball. That's why he's on the Hall of Fame. But you know what's messed up is like, okay, so he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he has a uniform and like gear, like equipment, gear, I guess you can say, that is in the Hall of Fame. And they would kind of like Major League Baseball, like kind of wheel him out whenever the Reds would do something big, and the All-Star game was there in Cincinnati. So it's like they use them as a pawn. But I mean, you know what? I mean, like my mom says, one hand washes the other. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he got paid handsomely I mean, he used to do it out of the kindness of his own heart. Come on.
Yeah.
I've heard that too, that like he was a staple in Vegas, and that if you wanted his autograph, he would charge you.
Yeah, he would I remember, like, obviously, like growing up, I never saw him play, or like he wasn't active when I was a kid or coming up. But he was already a legend. Like
he was already a legend. Exactly.
You grew up hearing that name.
Correct.
You would see videos of him. They would show clips of him all the time playing, and he had a different vibe to him than all these other players. He looked like a menace. Like he was out there to like Mike Tyson would say, he throws punches with bad intentions. Like that's kind of like how he played. Like he played with bad intentions. Like he was going to get his hits. He was going to steal his bases. He was going to do what he needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, the plays we most remembered for was that All-Star game when he pretty much ran to the catcher.
Yeah,
and it was an exhibition game, and everybody's like, man, like that's like the last time where we've had an All-Star game that like really counts, because Pete Rose was tackling the catcher to win the game, and it's just an exhibition, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that guy was a menace, and he played with a different intensity. I think
intensity. Yeah, it's funny how you brought Mike Tyson. He reminds me a little bit. He's like the Baker Mayfield of baseball. Like Baker Mayfield, he gets hyped up watching Mike Tyson clips.
Really? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. They talked about it yesterday on a Thursday night game. They're very insightful.
But I remember like looking on like eBay, like this was maybe a couple years ago on eBay, and like there was tons and tons of Pete Rose autographed baseballs
Yeah.
that you could just get. And then
Yeah.
I never pulled the trigger on it because like, all right, I don't know.
Well,
Doesn't
now
seem
I'm
like
pretty
it.
sure they're worth something.
Yeah.
It's sad to say. It's like once somebody
But-
passes away, is
Oh yeah, but there's
It's
a
like-
lot out there. He signed
oh
a
yeah, a
lot.
lot in circulation, no doubt. Yeah, I mean he sold his autographs and people were buying them. So
No.
uh,
Rest in peace to those guys, legends for sure.
definitely, legends in their own right, no
And
doubt.
it always comes in threes, but we've been lucky
Right.
so far. I think there's no third person.
Yeah, so far.
Man. Let's see here. Key matchups here. Jets versus Vikings is going to be in London.
London, 6:30. Set your clock.
Are you waking up for that?
I'm waking up for that. Yeah.
You are. Wow.
Oh
That's-
yeah. Oh yeah.
that's
Like
a
I said
dedicated
before, like I
guy.
usually Sunday's like my day to sleep in because the game's over here in the West Coast.
Yeah.
We're so spoiled, don't start till 10 o'clock, which is beautiful. But I mean, I get up at just in time to watch the Fox NFL and Fox pregame. I love that. I love that pregame. And it's Bradshaw. Bradshaw every time he does it for me. I
I'm
love that
surprised
guy.
he's still doing that job. He's been
He's the OG.
30 years, maybe.
Oh no,
now?
him and Howie. Him and
Yeah,
Howie.
him and Howie
Him
Long
and Howie.
since
Yeah.
the 90s, right? They've been doing
Right.
that
Yeah.
NFL on Fox.
Yeah. 90s.
Is
Yeah.
this, wait, are they still doing NFL on Fox, or are they switched networks now?
No, NFL and Fox. Yes.
No, okay.
Yeah. This. So how it all started really was they bought the rights outright from CBS. So CBS lost the NFL for a while, and Fox they took it and ran, and they've been
They
like
did a
so
good job.
successful.
I still
And-
remember that.
Fantastic. And then they got Jay Glazer, who was very insightful. I like Jay Glazer. He does a lot of good things for the vets too. I like Jay Glazer. And they got they got that other gentleman from Good Morning Football. He's on Christopher Russo's show now. He's so great too.
You remember back in the day, it was like NBC, CBS, and
Yeah.
Monday Night Football on Channel 7. It's kind of like the three
ABC.
networks that had it, and then all of a sudden Fox started
Yeah.
having Sunday
Yeah, because
Sunday football.
Fox is a newer network. I
It
mean,
started
even
like in the 80s. Yeah.
even ESPN is older than Fox.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
That's right. Because you'll see clips from like the early 80s, and they'll have the ESPN microphone, on there. Yeah. Man. But I remember when that show started, and they would have those. They still have them, right? The robots.
Yeah, he still the robots. Yeah. And then Joe Davis is he calls a lot of the big games. I mean, I think now they got Brady calling more of them, obviously with Kevin Burkhardt. But I mean, Fox. I don't know. It's just I watch the games on Fox and I switch over to CBS to watch another game that I'm interested in, and it does. I don't know. I'm sorry, CBS. I love you guys, but it doesn't compare. It just doesn't. But I mean, they're both still better, and I love Mike Tirico, but NBC is just you guys carry the Chiefs too much now. It's too much Chiefs love. They're the new Patriots, and yeah.
Is there a game outside of the Rams that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, let's talk about the Rams for a little bit. Actually, I want to just say I'm usually the most. I mean, obviously you see my jersey here. They're not winning this week, Kamish.
No?
I think they're going to be competitive. I was more, and I called it against the Niners because McVay against Shanahan every time he finds a way to win. But this Packers team is a different level, and just I think Love he's a really good quarterback. He's got an arsenal of young receivers, and then Josh Jacobs is going to get his. I think it's going to be competitive due to the fact that obviously we have Stafford who's healthy, and Kyren Williams, but it's going to be the Packers are just a better team, and then the Packers on defense have been they've been spectacular too. So I even told my daughter, I'm like, yeah, I'll just meet you for breakfast because I think they play at 1 or 10. I think they play at 1. So I might, yeah.
The Packers Rams?
Yeah, because it's here at SoFi.
It's 125.
Yeah, you're 125. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna be like half tuned into it because I know it's a bad part on me, but I think that the Rams have to get back Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Who knows? We'll probably see him. We might not even see him for the rest of the season. It's gonna be rough, Kamish. It's gonna be a long season. If they make the playoffs, good for them. If they don't, on to next year. I'm already like We're going to week 5. I'm already calling it. I'm like, yeah, there's like barely any pulse on
Look,
on our Rams.
look at this. While Packers coach Matt LaFleur has struggled against his former boss Kyle
Yeah,
Shanahan, going 2-4 against his 49ers, it's been the opposite for LaFleur against his former boss Rams coach Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. Yeah.
LaFleur, who was McVay's offensive coordinator with the Rams in 2017 and worked with McVay in Washington from 2010 to 2013, has never lost to McVay in
Yeah.
four head-to-head meetings, including the playoffs.
And that's the thing too, Commish. Whenever the Rams go to Lambeau, they're not the Rams. Even when the Rams are cooking and they're playing well, they go to Lambeau. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know if it's all the Lombardi trophies. They just can't. They crumble. They crumble. I mean, granted, last season when they played it in Green Bay, it was Dresser Wynn was the quarterback. Stafford was injured. So it was just a bad game. And then this year is the Packers they didn't miss a step. I mean, they have Malik Willis in there. I mean, he got them the wins that they needed to stay afloat. It's tough because it's like at first I was thinking, okay, Detroit might be the top dogs, but man, you got the Packers and you got the Vikings, and the Vikings are undefeated too.
So the Rams are ranked 31st in defense, and the Packers are ranked 3rd in offense.
Yeah, see, it doesn't.
You're right. It's not looking good.
It's a total blowout. Yeah, like I said, the McVay's gonna keep it competitive because Stafford's healthy and Kyren Williams. But I think it's gonna get to a point where it's like, okay, like the game's out of hand. Throw in Jimmy G, keep him fresh, or Stetson Bennett, and just throw out Ronnie Rivers. Get Blake Corum in the game. Get him some experience. Because I mean, if Kyren Williams goes down, I know it's Ronnie Rivers the second man up, but it's really Blake Corum. So we got to see what we got with Blake Corum too. It's one of those games where it's like you're gonna have like Jordan Whittington probably get a couple catches, maybe a touchdown if anything, but he's gonna be the high receiver. So, but yeah, it's gonna be dull. The game that I really want to look out for, Kamish, is that Vikings Jets game. Because I called it all season, but I want them to prove me wrong. I want the Jets to prove me wrong. They're pretenders, Kamish, pretenders.
The Vikings?
Both of those teams. So I want to see who is the pretender and who is the contender. If the Vikings win that game, the Vikings are contenders, Kamish. They're contenders. They're going to the playoffs. They're going to playoffs. And if the Jets lose that game, they're pretenders. And I knew it all along, Kamish. Because I mean, granted, yes, the Bills, they looked pathetic last weekend against the Ravens. I mean, Josh Allen I think that was one of his worst games, but they couldn't get anything going, and they're banged up on defense. I get it. They're gonna lose Von Miller this week, but I still think they're gonna have a good game against the Texans. That's another game that you want to look out for. I think that's a Sunday night game. That's gonna be a good game. So hopefully it's back and forth, and in a Diggs revenge game where Diggs is going against the Bills, but the game you really want to look out for too, Commish. Like I said, this is the game that's worth waking up early because it's not Jaguars Colts or something like that. Either way, I still would have watched. I'm a degenerate, but this Vikings team, I want to see like, man, they got Addison back, and he didn't miss a step. He scored 2 touchdowns last week, Commish. This guy picked them up. But I didn't start him, but it's cool. It's cool. But I mean, hey, like I know what I got is like, man, like, yeah, like
getting those bench points.
Just in case. I mean, too bad that Derrick Henry like stomped all over me. He curb stomped me. It was a beatdown. Good win, Walter, if you're watching. Love you, brother. But yeah, this week I got to come back. I'm not playing Derrick Henry, thank God, because Derrick Henry's gonna feast again. But yeah, Kamish. And then the other game too, I guess you want to kind of. Oh no. The Sunday night game is Dallas and Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Dallas and Pittsburgh. I got my games mixed up. Okay, Dallas and Pittsburgh.
What do you like there?
At Pittsburgh, it's Pittsburgh. I mean, Dallas is banged up on defense. No Dexter Lawrence. No, I don't think. I think what was it? Bland's out. Was their top corner. It's tough, Kamish. I mean, and then you're kick. They're playing at I forget the name of the stadium now. I know it is a Heinz Field. It's always gonna be Heinz Field to me.
Oh, that's the Pittsburgh, right?
Pittsburgh, yeah, they got a different Acrisure Stadium, something like that, something weird. I think it's like an insurance company, Acrisure. But to me, it's always gonna be the Heinz Field. That was because that's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they're famous for the ketchup. I love that ketchup, by the way.
Oh, is that where their headquarters are? You're right.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say that. Acrisure.
Acrisure, yeah, Acrisure.
Acrisure Stadium.
I think it's like an insurance, like an insurance firm. It's sad because sometimes like these names don't even fit. Like Heinz Field was perfect. I mean, Heinz. You think of Heinz ketchup or even their mustard is really good.
Well, the problem is that the owners of Heinz is Kraft.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay, that's interesting. So I guess they got bought out.
Yeah, it says the owners of the Heinz name, now owned by Kraft Heinz, declined to renew the stadium naming rights.
Oh, there you go.
Robert Kraft probably doesn't want to have his name on the Pittsburgh Stadium, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, that's funny. That's funny. But yeah, it's a difficult place because of the field. Because the Pittsburgh Panthers play there, the college team. So that field is just stomped on. So by Sunday,
that's a cool name, the Pittsburgh Panthers.
The Pitt Panthers, yeah. But yeah, it's a difficult place because I know they got Aubrey, and he's like a weapon for the Cowboys. I mean, that's a tough place to kick a football because of the field and because I mean maybe the weather might be a little swirly around this time of year. So we'll see what happens. But if I had to put money on it, it's Pittsburgh by 10.
By 10, yeah,
10 or 14.
Looks like pretty much everybody's picking. Let's see. So there's 3 picks here, and 2 of the people picked the Cowboys, and 1 picked the Steelers.
No, yeah, it's Pittsburgh's gonna roll. Yeah,
and then it's gonna be
because I mean the Cowboys almost got taken out by the Giants. If the Giants would have, I mean, if Malik Neighbors would have made a couple more catches, and who was it? Wan'Dale Robinson didn't drop a ball. The Giants could have easily won that game. And then I know that Aubrey. I mean, I know Aubrey missed a kick late. It didn't really matter at that point. The game was in the bag. What was it? Did Daniel Jones? No, they didn't throw an interception, or did they? No, he threw one late. It didn't really matter. The game was already pretty much out of hand. Yeah, I mean the Cowboys are not. They're not the same Cowboys, and they're banged up on defense. I mean that's usually what you go by with the Cowboys. They have no running game. The Steelers are banged up on the running game as well. Najee Harris is pretty much the only healthy back, and Cordell Patterson's out, and Jalen Warren's out. So that's why I put Najee back in. I was gonna put Eckler, but I put Najee back in there. I'm like, well, it was him and Cordell Patterson last week, and Cordell Patterson. I don't know if he took the touchdown or if he salvaged some yards from Najee. I'm hoping a better output from Najee this week. No Dexter Lawrence, so I mean, hopefully they open up some holes for him.
So I had to work last night and I missed the Thursday night game. What did you make of it?
Oh, what a game! Was it good? Yeah,
I feel like I was racking up some points though.
It was a good old NFC South shootout. Like it was a duel. They challenged each other to a duel. They did the whole white glove and I challenge you to a duel, Gusta. And so yeah, that's what happened. I mean, Baker came out hot, Cousins came out hot. Just the back and forth affair, field position. Koo missed a key field goal. It was. I mean, Baker's. Man, there was like so many injuries on the field. Yes, that in last night's game as well. That just like I said, Commission, it's baffled me how many injuries there's been. I know these guys hit hard but it's like technically you guys have like better equipment now, and I don't understand. I mean, is it because I don't know if it's like the supplements or there has to be something, Commission. Like it has to be scientific where it's like we need these guys to eat like red meat. I don't care if it's antibiotics in there. You got to eat that stuff, man, because it's like these guys are just like falling out like crash test dummies. Like bam, like a hit, and then the guy's out. There's like timeout. That game ran a little long because of the injuries. But it was man, Cousins just some bold throws, and Drake London, like he bailed them out a lot. And,
really?
And it was a team effort. It was a team effort because Because what was it? Hodge. Hodge was the one who scored the game-winning touchdown.
Mm.
I mean, Darnell Mooney was pretty good as well. But man, on the Buck side, it's just like Evans, like he'll like get like a scratch and he's on the sideline. Godwin got like hit, like he got hit low, so he's on the sideline. It's like, dude, like, and then Bucky. The thing that messed up the Bucks was Bucky Irving fumble, and we talked about it, Kamish. The referees missed a lot of calls. They missed. So when he fumbled the football, there was a face mask. They didn't call the face mask.
Huh.
So I mean,
wait, the face mask caused the fumble?
No, so they were like punching the ball out.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do now. A lot of people don't like it, but it's like it's football. You gotta do what you gotta do to make a play.
Wait,
and it's entertainment.
Fans
too.
don't like it.
So there's obviously the fans are like, oh, like I call them the holy rollers, the people who think they're holier than thou, and they're like, oh, it's messing up the game, and it's not a football play, and it's like, who cares? It's football.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
I feel like I've seen that all the time.
I don't care if the guy spin the guy's face to get him, like to I mean, dude, like you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Wait, I'm a little confused. You're saying they're punching the ball or they're punching the guy?
No, they're punching the ball. So like the DB will come up, and like the running back's carrying the ball, usually carrying it a little bit low, like a loaf of bread,
right?
But they're not supposed to, and they come up and they just punch the ball down. I mean, it's a fumble. Like if there's like not a knee down or elbow or wrist or butt down, like there's.
But guys have been doing that for years, right? No.
So it's been more rampant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot who started. I'm about to look up into this again, but I think it was like if I'm not mistaken, it was from the Tennessee Titans. It was a specific player on defense who kind of just started doing it, and then everybody's practicing now.
Yeah, copying them. It worked.
They pretty much. It worked. Like it's. I consider it a football play. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't even tackle the guy, so it's like, man, hey, throw the punch in there. Why not?
Because I feel like I always remember guys trying to knock that ball loose, but from behind, like they come up behind.
Correct.
And they uppercut.
No. Now it's like you're going up against the guy, and then even as like there's times where like the guy's like trying to take him down, and he's punching at the ball
as he's tackling.
Yeah, as he's tackling. Yeah, or there's guys that just come up and they're like they do the stop, and they just like go for the ball. Yeah, like straight up, just like a haymaker, like bam, right for the ball. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but I give Cousins a lot of credit for that win yesterday because it wasn't the run game. I mean, Bijan is like, I missed my prop by seven yards, but he wasn't. I mean, they were saying that like he had like an ankle injury or something like that. I'm just like, man, like it's just all these injuries because Algier, like, he had a couple nice plays, but he had a couple plays where he got stuck behind the line of scrimmage. It's like, dude, get Bijan in there, man. Like that guy can. I'll give him credit though. He can block. Like he was protecting Cousins, like, man, dude. Like there was one play where like he protected the hole and he got his helmet went flying, dude. And so like Cousins was like, oh man, and yeah, dude, like he was still like without a helmet, just like I give him credit, Bijan. That's a football player right there, man. Like that's you're one to like put up your body in the line for your quarterback. That's awesome. That's team football. Yeah, that's why they got the win. It's team football.
All right. What else are you kind of on your radar?
Like I said, Kamish, I mean, we'll see what these games. It's just so unpredictable, especially in fantasy. I mean, I went 0 for 6 last week on all my leagues. I didn't get a single win.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's
yeah, fantasy football is weird that way, huh? Like you don't know how it's gonna go.
And in Kamish, there's the bye weeks this week, and then there's so many injuries.
I have Barkley. He's on the bye week.
He's on a bye week. Yeah.
And so, sometimes when you have a bye week, that's like guys that on the league who don't have the good team. They that's their chance.
That's their chance. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like playing the matchup at that point, and then like I said, Commissioner's like so many injuries too. All right, Commish. But I just wanted to start landing this bird. So I did a little investigation and I came up on this. So this is This is the sweat off of the Padres jock straps right here, and I'm gonna pretend to be a member of national media. So this is like I said, I'm the national media commission. Imagine me, I'm the
All
national
right.
media, and so this is what the national media is doing with the Padres sweat from their jock straps.
Oh my goodness. Oh, are they swallowing or are they spitting?
Oh, they swallowed it. They
They
gargled and they
swallowed.
swallowed it. Oh, the Padres. Oh my God, they're gonna win. They're gonna beat the Dodgers. No, they're not. No, they're not. Stop it. Get some
Man.
help. If you don't like it, that's too bad. We represent LA, and that's why they call us villains.
All right, let's end it on that. Peace.